Good morning, welcome to Satsang. Oh, sorry. It's a way to speak, but the moment of stop, of not going along the mind, is unseen. But it's precious. It's the most precious because it's what is. You probably is not there, no I. You hear something? But it's extremely precious. And that's what satsang or all those indications try to show. If it is not something that you want, that the world offers, if you are fed up or unsatisfied or too unhappy to always feel unsatisfied, then this indication is given. Go back or ask this subjective question, ask about the subject, and already if you ask about the subject, it becomes an object, I becomes an object, and then you can see very well that you always speak of somebody. And it's a thought, you just remain where you are left, without the you or me, but what was difficult to speak about. And it's precious, that's all. And that will not be a state, because in time nothing is eternal. Maybe infinite, but not eternal. And so, if you know it's precious, once in a while you will even need, but not in a sense of I need to know more. You will be happy to just stop a second, which can be more or less, but it doesn't matter. And that, in a way, you can say it's so powerful that it removes the search. It removes the search of who am I, or who is God, or what's real. That's why it can be described as it's peace. You are not bothered anymore with what your mind says. Probably we have to be reminded, doesn't matter. If you know the treasure or treasurabilities, it doesn't matter to be reminded by yourself or by satsang. It's like The movie can be interrupted because the electricity is unplugged for a moment and then it goes on again. The life of that one can look like that. So, there are seeds there. Yeah. Anything you would like to hear? Any question or something? You can ask. Huh? You know that it's your space. Mine too, but it's also yours. Yes. Can I have the mic, please?
Yesterday someone sent me a video of a teacher,
Yeah.
and I was surprised that it doesn't matter the teacher, but they said that the search is about freedom from suffering. And I thought, oh wow, that's really strange, I'm not really searching for that. Somehow I don't have this freedom from suffering search anymore, maybe. I don't know.
You want?
I don't.
You don't mind to suffer. So what is your search?
Yeah. So then I asked the kid,
Yeah.
what am I still searching for? And it looks like I have this compulsion. When I come to satsang, I'm almost begging, please show me what's real.
Mm. And then Peli, you ask the question, the impossible question, because if you show what's real, it's no more real. It falls into the grip of time and space.
Yeah.
So, to make your search disappear, you just don't hook at it. Don't hook at your search.
At that moment.
What happens then?
Nothing happens.
Nothing, and you just don't hook also at the sensual.
Then
Says the mind, yes, I
Yes.
listen.
but I want to say it. The search
The search?
restarts when I read of people's experiences of the ultimate or the absolute, or
Yeah.
and then there is this doubt of I haven't seen it, I have not.
You don't know what they say,
Yeah,
for example.
Exactly, it's like something hasn't been seen.
Yes, but you see, this is the difficulty. Whenever you express, it will be relative truth. Okay. So you don't need to live or try to experience what is expressed, because it becomes a relative truth. I don't know about real truth, but I know that if you don't hook at any concept, let it be an old one or let it be a new one presented by teachings, you will be at peace. And you may not ask this question because you know it's in the mind, and the mind may never be satisfied. It will always find a better prior or better beyond. Always. That's what I say, the mind may be infinite, because it infinitely goes there, in those directions. So, that's why I spoke about the stop, even though if I speak of stop, I speak of the mind. But it's a direction to show, for a moment offer you, because it is your birthright. A stop, don't go with the mind. Like this, the mind will always present itself as long as you live, but it may not be a tyrant. You will have experience of its tyranny, because in time you will be still sometimes identified and taken. But now you know it's in time. And what is to be tried to mention, even if it is still time, but it doesn't look at all that it's in time, what can I say? Because where you are left, it looks like nothing can touch it. So, you are left with what?
The cocoa is not working.
You could take it as a blessing. Already in time we are blessed with the deep sleep. Then the cocoa is not working. And that's why we finally can have a good deep sleep. But as it is a state, it will not stop the search in the dream or waking state. While this moment of stop, the indication, I tried to say something which is impossible to bring, but it will not, sorry, it can be in any state. In sleep state, I don't know, but I don't care anymore. At least in the waking state, you can always not be in waking state for a moment. Is at least as a person, it's the impression it gives, and it's very good because it stops your search. So it has value. It has an extreme value.
So when you say you can't bring anyone or anything here, it's about this
It's about this.
one moment.
It is outrageous to say so, especially if I speak about names.
Yeah.
Don't bring Papaji here, don't bring Ramana here, don't bring Buddha here. But you see, it's what they indicate. Don't bring a thing here, don't bring an ideal here, don't bring a name here, don't bring a form here. And the real Papaji, the real Ramana, the real Buddha are not forms. So one can always be misunderstood. But this I don't care. Yeah. I care very much if there is a demand that one doesn't get fooled again by a concept. Otherwise, I'm fully grateful for the names I uttered. It has absolutely nothing to do. Yeah. You see, it's very interesting, very useful, very amazingly freeing to see that we pass our life binding ourselves to a concept, and then we make it an ideal, we'll make it a philosophy, we'll make it a religion. It's all right if you are happy like that, but some will not be happy. That's why they search something else. For those, I say, there is nothing wrong with religion, there is nothing wrong with this and that in this manifestation. It helps so many and it has its purpose. But if you want to be at peace, a peace which is not even a state of peace, that's why it's impossible to speak about. I would not commit the mistake to objectify it. So I don't know what it is. But it's there. Yeah, if you don't want to be bound by an idea, then listen to your mind. Even if in the life, of course, we follow ideas, but then you know it now. You know its relative truths or falsehood. Yeah. And that ends the suffering. Maybe not the circumstantial suffering, sure, but it ends the existential suffering.
When you said don't bring anyone or anything here,
Yeah.
the way I heard it was that I can't even bring I here.
Yeah.
And
There is no and. Yeah. Then and, okay, but then you know it's the mind who wants to comment. what's going on.
It's useless to tell. It's useless to tell because it's
Okay.
waves
Okay.
and
But you see it now, how this cocoa works. Yeah? This brain is to go in all the directions possible. It's meant for that. This is the manifestation, the multiplicity. But one has the birthright to take some rest sometimes. And I just now speak in terms of time because I cannot have another language. Okay, if someone doesn't understand what I say, you are free to ask me. Or to go if you don't like it. Such a freedom we have, it's wonderful. Just an example of how, for example, the word silence, which is a wonderful, not only word, but one knows, tastes what is silence. But as it is pronounced, it's becoming a guideline and slowly a slogan. Be in silence, silence is, you know, what is and all that. Silence, silence, silence. And, you know, this is what I want to say. We, as a human, as a being, personal being, we cannot do otherwise when we speak, and we have this amazing talent to be able to say words. When we speak, it becomes something. It's something. So silence, which is the word silence, which may come from silence, but the word gets limited. And it has its purpose because you say, okay, the silence of the mind, for example. So it removes, it undoes what the mind does generally. So in that way, of course you will suffer less, because for a moment you go into that, you are not troubled by your mind. It's silent. So it has its purpose to express those amazing, not so general words. But what they mean is from where they came. From where they came. So And you are always, everybody, every being is from where everything rises and disappears. At least this is the impression left in someone. Yeah. Ah, you're here now.
Yeah, that is even what I want to share with you.
Yeah.
And it is even connected with silence, since for me, satsang was always watching a silent movie, and now there's a soundtrack.
Now it's a sound movie. Yeah, but it's a silent sound.
Yeah, and it is even concerning what I understood from what you shared now, that it is a contradiction in itself.
A paradox.
It is a paradox, yeah. And I got along very well with this silent movie, satsang. And anyway, it matters to hear the words now.
Yeah, because those words brings you to silence.
I think it was just curiosity. I'm very grateful towards Narayan that he provided this ear aid.
Yeah, we are no more old. We hear well.
Yeah, it's a rejuvenation satsang here. Okay, there's nothing more to say because I think I didn't miss it before, but I was curious about it. I said to Narayan, oh, if you could provide, that would be great. And now I feel it.
Yeah.
And yeah. But anyway, I would have continued to watch the silent satsang movie as well. Both is very valuable. Both is very nourishing and connecting with freedom. Even freedom not to be hooked on, I have to get the words. Just be on.
It reminds me when I was with Papaji in the beginning, he had more Indians coming to him, so he was speaking their language, and I felt, oh my God, I don't hear anything. And then I felt, oh, after all, what Master speaks cannot be bound by a language. So I kept open, not understanding anything, but it was good. Well, I don't want to fight whatever you say, but to me, the word connection, you see, is when somebody is connected to something deeper or superior to him. So I would like to say that of course those are the experiences one can have, but actually what is always available, and there you don't need to be connected, Because the one, when it's available, when it's obvious, it's exactly when the one connected disappears. Maybe you just... Anyway, I am a bit...
Sophisticated.
Sorry?
Sophisticated.
Radical.
Okay, as far as I have understood your last statement, if there is no object, there cannot be any connection, because connection
Yeah.
is a
There is still someone having an
interference
experience.
in
But it's
between, yeah, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is what we want to... I can follow you so far. Thank you.
And again, there is nothing wrong, in the contrary, to be connected to something superior. But you see, there is a seed there of a coming trouble, because you can be disconnected. That's why I say, otherwise I don't want to fight necessarily with words.
Okay, the mic is available.
Yes, please.
Thank you. Do you think we can collectively
Collectively,
unlearn the patterns of I wonder, like, it's always so easy as human beings or human society to produce harm, and I wonder, like, if we can also unlearn to not fall into destructiveness, but really learn collectively to...
it starts by oneself. Huh?
But then, how does it go into the...
We are all connected. So it starts by oneself, one being, then maybe another being, another being.
But I agree, but I wonder why it's so difficult. That it's also when we see at the world today, like it's sometimes...
It has always been difficult, you see. This manifestation has its pleasures and it's a lot of pain. It has always been. That's why some search an exit, a way out. How is it possible? It's too absurd.
There is no way out?
There is a way out. That's why I try to say since 24 years.
What's the way out?
Not to listen to your mind.
We as human beings created so many concepts that, like, I don't know, conditioning, rules.
Yeah, that belongs to the body and the mind. Yeah. And of course, if one thinks he's only a body-mind, he's in trouble. So maybe the exit is just to see, I am not only that. I'm not only that. And that can be seen just now when you don't listen to your mind. That's all what is proposed. Yeah.
I just wanted to add to this that when we are all connected, then we all also feel the pain of the other, or like of the world, or the crisis.
I know. That one person feels the pain of what's going on. Who are you? You see, it's your birthright also to ask, but who am I in fact? Am I only one being about myriads of beings? Or maybe there is something else also? And you see, if you stop to believe that you are only one being among myriads of beings, because it's a thought after all, it's a fact in this manifestation. If you stop just a moment, there is still something. There is still something, and you don't know what it is, but then you keep quiet there. And then you understand that this manifestation is dual and cannot do differently than pain and pleasure, because otherwise there is no expression. And it expresses itself all the time. It's bound. Oh, it's bound by that. I was totally unaware. So it's not about that awareness anyway. Something. Well, I don't know if I reply to your question afterward.
Yes, and since I don't
You
know...
see, for example, now I will take an example of the example of wisdom, Ramana Maharishi. Let's say like that, which is accepted by believers and unbelievers. Okay. This Ramana, if you ask what he did for the society and all, he remained on his sofa and turned around a mountain daily, all his life. The world came to him. Why? The world was in war, the world was in trouble. They came to him. Why? To hear, keep quiet. Who am I? And this is still alive. And people, Ramana is not there as a person, but what he expressed is still alive. So does it not help even the manifestation? It does. But it does. Why? Because that guy, sorry Ramana, that being was made what he wanted to show alive. So that's what I said to your friend. Start with you. Everyone start with himself to keep quiet. A moment you can't, in time you cannot make it long. Doesn't matter. But see the preciousness of it. Allow yourself to just break this movie once in a while. It must help, otherwise why should we go to Ramana and still hear him? It means it works. Huh? Good.
question from
Yes,
what you
sure,
said
sure.
about pain and pleasure.
Pain and pleasure,
Could
yeah.
you elaborate on this? Because I
To
don't
what?
know the teaching, so I would like to hear. Like when
Ah,
you said
be a
it's-
bit more clear,
it's
please.
in between pain and pleasure, you mentioned something. Maybe you could elaborate. What do you mean?
Pain and pleasure, that is all what we live in the life of birth and death. What is in between? Pain and pleasure. Pain and pleasure.
So these two as the main 2 points in between, or between each other, or
Just see that from where it comes from. And the answer you will give is not the answer. And you keep quiet there. Any answer will be mental. And the mind is limited, that's why we suffer. So you have not to swallow what I say, you just see by yourself. See by yourself. And here also I want to say a word about practice and no practice. You see, surely, I believe that practices lead you somewhere, to some achievement and some results, which are probably much better than what you lived before. No doubt about it in life. Now, it's limited because there is still a meditator or a practitioner or somebody having this attainment or whatever. So here, when I say no practice, I lead you to an extremely more difficult practice, which is to keep quiet. So when one says no practice, it doesn't mean, oh no, I am an enjoyer, I doesn't care. These are misunderstandings, foolish misunderstandings. To my eyes. Now, do whatever you like, but if at all, for some reason, strange reason, I agree, you are still not satisfied, troubled by you don't know what, since you attain such a high state with practices, here maybe it makes sense to question I, who is the meditator. One thinks so. You see, there is nothing wrong with I, but we always put a quality on it. I'm happy, I'm not unhappy, I am a meditator or I am a non-meditator. There are qualities on I, and it is those qualities which trouble because they are ephemeral. Yeah. But you see, one cannot. I'm sorry, this coffee makes me speak. I promise you I will be silent afterwards. No, it's like everybody gives the example of Buddha. Buddha made a lot of practices, but you see, he became the Buddha we hear today when he stopped his practices, because he made so much practices and then still he failed, and he sat on this at the foot of this banyan tree, and he had a moment of nothing works, and then so practices, you can't help when you search to go through it probably and all that, because you cannot take the simple fact. Don't search, you are already what you search. So if you cannot take that simple fact, it's not even willingly, but you will go through things, through practices, through investigations or meditations or whatnot, which will satisfy you, if it is that a certain kind of satisfaction you wanted, or you will also do like Buddha. I did the whole thing and still I'm searching. Then here it makes sense. You were a meditator too much. And once you see it, you say, oh my God. Okay. Enough. So you cannot say it's through practice, at the same time you cannot help that it's through practice for a while. It's clear? Yeah. Yes.
Good morning, Barbara.
Good morning.
As you are explaining so much today, can you say something about the birthright?
It's your birthright not to feel bound, not to believe that you are such and such. And here, or you take it at once, you're struck by it, or you can investigate, and the indication is wherever you catch an answer or a result, it's not yet it. It's when the mind doesn't need a chewing gum or a bone. You see, the word surrender, I don't think it's so correct to we speak often like this, that the mind will surrender. The mind cannot surrender. But what is surrender is to not being in the company of the mind. I don't speak of a state. Suddenly, that is, it can be said surrender, because then there is nobody there who still wants to feel it, who still wants to attain it, to realize it. You see, all those needs of someone are just dropped. Because you are the proper place ever. And when the mind surrenders, it's I who surrenders. And then you think you arrived somewhere, but that's also a thought, isn't it? It's also an attainment. So not even that. Good.
In the beginning you said something like who you are is unseen.
Yeah.
And it was a great confirmation of something that I know but not as knowledge. It's strange enough, I think it's not even in the memory. I cannot go.
Enough. You see, you have to be careful. When the arrow reaches the goal, let's say like this, it's not seen, boom. Don't make a philosophy, don't comment after that. It's too risky. It reached the goal, that's it. Today I'm talkative, so I will say something which maybe is too much, but no comments, no confirmation, you know. You don't need a confirmation. Otherwise you make an attainment. I reached, even if you say it's not me, I reached. The not seen. Well, but it's so simple, but be vigilant. Be vigilant. You don't need confirmation. Ramana had a confirmation from this silent Arunachala? No. Papaji didn't have a confirmation from Ramana. No need. I could not have, because he was dead. No need of confirmation here, there is nobody. Try to see. It's very easy to see. But then you want to save your skin. Don't save it. For once. I tell you, it's greater than you think. So don't save it. You ask not for confirmation. If you ask, it's because there is a doubt, there is something which has to be more clear. And then I reply, of course. That's why I reply to you. Okay? But then it's the target. It replies to something too much. Okay? Then perfect. Very good. Thank you so much.